You wake up, not to the nice morning light, but to the loud high cry of a tiny poodle. His owner, Brenda, wants a sunrise photo. It's 4 a.m. You haven't slept in what feels like forever. Your alarm is like a ghost meow in your dreams, reminding you of the cat photo shoot later. The smell of old dog food and feeling hopeless is always there. It's a really bad start to another day. Your workroom, a garage, smells a little like wet dog, old catnip, and a lot of worry. You move around chewed wires, backdrops with dog drool, and a big cloud of dog fur that vacuums can't handle. This is your kingdom. A place full of mess, animal hair, and the constant risk of an animal peeing where it shouldn't. The air feels heavy, not with art ideas, but with things that make you sneeze and hidden dirt. You're not just a person who takes pictures, you're an animal charmer, someone who can bend their body, a cleaner and sometimes a human chew toy. Your clean white shirt lasts about 3 seconds during a puppy photo shoot. It will get completely ruined, covered in mud, drool, and weird stuff. You're now super good at telling what kind of animal mess it is just by smelling it. Your hands, once soft, are now rough from holding animals that don't want to be held. They have marks from small bites and accidental scratches. Today's job, get the spirit of a cat named Mittens. But Mittens acts like a grumpy person who checks taxes. Mittens won't look at the camera. Mittens glares at you. Mittens plans to hurt you, especially your ankle. You spend 45 minutes making silly noises, waving feather toys, and thinking about becoming a clown, where at least people laugh on purpose. You think about offering tuna, but Mittens has high standards, really high standards, much better than your small gifts. Then there's Buster, a bulldog with a face only a mother and Brenda could love, but a bladder the size of a tiny cup. Halfway through his cool pose on your fancy velvet couch, Buster decides the shoot needs more natural touches. You watch slowly as a warm yellow stream ruins your prop. That will cost you at least $50 to clean. A part of you dies. Again. Most times there are about 2 animal fluid messes per shoot, mostly pee. Your success rate for a perfect, smiling pet picture, both eyes open, no butt showing and not trying to run away, is only 12%. The other 88% are blurry pictures, angry stares, deep animal thoughts that Brenda will say are not good for social media, or just a furry butt pointed right at your camera. You took 2,000 photos in one session to get one good one. The absolute worst? When the animal just disappears. You're setting up a shot, turn your back for a second, and the ferret, hamster, or even surprisingly the turtle has vanished into your studio. You spend the next hour crawling on your hands and knees, saying sorry to a dust bunny you briefly thought was the missing animal. The client, of course, is texting you about their lunch plans, not knowing you're on a desperate hunt. Can you make Fluffy look less fat? Brenda asks, pointing to her very fat cat. You nod, knowing Fluffy is 90% fur, 10% pure greed, and old bad memories. You can't change what the cat is, Brenda, or the 20 cans of tuna you feed her daily, which make her weigh 18 pounds, much more than the healthy 8 to 10. But you try. You always try. Your artistic side cries softly. Another client wants you to copy a famous old painting, The Creation of Adam, but with their small dog wearing a tiny collar and touching the paw of a golden retriever. You spend hours finding things for the picture, setting up small fruits carefully, only for the small dog to show its art anger by ripping the collar and trying to mate with the fake pair, while the golden retriever quickly falls asleep, snoring. Art is pain, especially with tiny dogs and fruit. You often wonder if your clients have ever met a real animal. They think their pets are smart, perfect models, able to show feelings when told. You see them as furry, wild creatures whose main goals are sleeping, eating, and breaking your expensive stuff. Your camera alone costs more than Brenda's food for a whole year. That fact stays with you during every shoot, The constant pressure to get the perfect shot makes your eye twitch. It happens every time you hear the word cute. Indeed, your brain, once full of creative ideas, is now a maze of pet treats, camera settings, and nice ways to tell Brenda her dog looks less like a great animal and more like a furry potato with trust issues. A potato, you think, that probably judges your life choices. You carry 30 pounds of gear into a client's home, including lights, stands, and your own peace of mind, only to find their living room is a dark cave with one dim light. "We love natural light," they say, pointing vaguely towards a window covered by heavy curtains. You force a smile, knowing you'll spend 5 hours trying to get light from the darkness, and another 10 hours later, digitally making sunshine and removing your own sad face from the pet's eyes. Your hands are a map of small injuries. A scratch from a playful kitten, which later got a little infected. A bruise from a happy tail wag. A mark that stays on your finger from pressing the camera button 3,000 times in one session. You live with the constant fear of a dog thinking your $2,000 lens is a chew toy. Your camera insurance costs more than your life insurance, and your first payment is more than your monthly rent. Editing. Oh, editing. You spend most of your waking hours bent over a screen, taking out leashes, copying over distracting cat toys, cleaning eye boogers, making Fluffy look thinner, and carefully putting many pictures together to get one full family photo where all 5 cats are looking the same way. Your eyes burn, your back hurts. You dream of a world where pets pose perfectly and owners understand what fixing pictures really means. This repeated effort often leads to wrist pain, common for people like you, usually starting around age 38. Your average hourly pay, after counting camera costs, software programs, insurance, gas, advertising, and the 12 hours you spent making Mittens look just annoyed, is less than minimum wage. You are paid in fame and the lingering smell of dog shampoo. About 40% of your clients pay late and 10% never pay at all, making your money situation always shaky. You chase bills like a dog chases a squirrel, often getting the same avoidance. "Oh, we thought it was a fun hobby," clients say, surprised you expect payment for a real job that involved crawling on your stomach for an hour to get a ground-level view of their hamster. "No, Brenda, this isn't a hobby. This is how you pay rent and buy cat food for your own cat, who judges you silently from the corner, well-fed, unlike your diet of instant noodles." The job life of a pet photographer often ends early because of constant back pain. 80% report it. Wrist pain, or a complete mental breakdown after trying to photograph 15 guinea pigs in one session, each one wanting to bury itself in the hay. Your therapist knows Brenda by name and has told you to think about stuffing animals, as they don't move as much, which is a strangely sensible idea. You get a strange fear of squeaky toys. The sound makes you want to run or fight. You once jumped under a table at a child's birthday party because someone dropped a rubber chicken, breathing fast until someone said it wasn't for a dog. The bad memory runs deep, often causing nightmares of giant barking cameras. You live with constant worry. Did you get the shot? Was Brenda happy? Will you get a bad review because the dog refused to wear the tiny hat she insisted upon? Your dreams are endless loops of barking, meowing, Brenda's disapproving stare, and the faint, constant smell of animal waste. You often wake up in a panic, convinced you forgot to clean the studio, a fear that is probably true. Oh, how cute. You take pictures of puppies, people say at parties, as if you spend your days playing with golden retrievers. They don't see the hours cleaning up pee, the almost bites, the mental fight with a stubborn lizard named Spike, whose stare still haunts you. They see happy times. You see a deep emptiness in a puppy's innocent eyes. You're always fighting the idea that your job is easy and unimportant. It's not. It's a fight against animals and a fight for your mind against humans who care a lot about Instagram. Your job pain often gets a pat on the head, like you give to a nervous dog, a gesture that feels both childish and very ironic. Your friends working real jobs in offices complain about computer files and office rules. You smile faintly, remembering the time you had to get a client's ferret out of a toilet during a photo shoot and then explain why it looked a bit wet in the final pictures. You wouldn't trade places, but you often wish your biggest problem was a simple computer task, not a cat's sudden, strong dislike for velvet backgrounds. You look at old farmers working hard, suffering from sickness, hunger, and cruel lords and think, at least they didn't have to make a cat pose in a tiny top hat for funny social media stuff. Their pain was clear, honest, and often deadly. Yours is fluffy, tricky, and somehow hurts your soul more. You often dream of trading your camera for a simple tool, for a life of hard but honest work. The average life of an old farmer was 35 years, often ending quickly and easily from sickness or a stray arrow. The average mental well-being of a pet photographer often feels shorter, slowly worn down by small insults. You live longer, yes, but what does it do to your spirit? At least they died fast from sickness. You slowly die from job shame, one blurry pet butt at a time, a slow and painful trip to madness. So you keep going. You chase the perfect light, the perfect pose, the perfect client review. You go through fur, drool, and the never-ending demands of pet owners who treat their animals better than some treat their own children. You're not just taking pictures, you're showing a love story between people and their furry bosses, one hard, often gross and very tiring picture at a time. It's a thankless job, but someone has to do it, right? At least now you only have to deal with an occasional dog fart during a shoot, not the constant risk of being eaten by wolves or your crops failing. Small good things, really. But sometimes, when Brenda wants her cat to look like it's thinking about life while wearing a tiny eyeglass, you almost wish for the wolves. Almost. You hold your expensive camera. Its lens shows your tired, desperate eyes. It's a silent sign of how silly your job is. You're like a modern-day Sisyphus pushing a rock of pet fur up a hill of client demands.